This is part 2 of my story. For the last video was getting pretty long, and it's a good point to cut off. But I'll continue on from there with a brief recap. So as a child, I was very isolated, very confused, very low self-esteem. Struggled to express myself. So very sensitive. And also learned to hide things, as to not upset those I cared about. Anything I thought would upset them, I'd just not tell them or keep it to myself. Anything I felt ashamed of, anything I felt was my own fault, no one would understand, I just kept it to myself and buried it. The reasons that started early on, but that was made worse by everything going on at school and the way I was treated. I just had no value for myself. But after school, like I said, it was difficult. I mean, every day was I was bullied. I recall being stood in a corridor and not know which direction to go, as bullies were stood at either end, and I knew that as soon as I got there, they would pick on me, punch me, push me, or worse. I just learned to keep my head down, and one of the things I regret the most is the relief I felt when someone else was getting bullied. The feeling of it was, at least it wasn't me anymore, for the time being. And I learned not to even express that to the teachers, to the parents. Never knew the 99% of it until recently. And a lot of my friends, I say friends, there weren't many of them, but well, they never helped or did anything. If I was unable to stand up for myself, and they always disappeared when it was a need to be backed up. So I learned to not rely on anyone. But again, I had a false sense of optimism when I left school. At this point, I was already in the beginnings of a porn addiction to numb my feelings and try and cope with them. So when I started self-harming, which is something I've recently started doing again, I'm not proud of, but I was still struggling to find ways to cope 30 years later. But I was very good at hiding that. Again, my family never knew, friends never knew. Don't even recall any of them when if there did see anything ever mentioning anything. But when I went to college, I thought that would, be a bit more mature, things would change. But I was already damaged at this point, and it's very alternative, dressed alternative. Didn't give a crap about anything at this point. Hated the world, hated God. Didn't know they existed because God allow me to go through these things. So ironically, later on, would make me realise I still had a belief in God. Just can't hate something you don't believe in. Don't believe exists. Yeah, I became withdrawn, isolated. Cut myself off my family. I was self-hatred and self-loathing, and also wrongly blamed them for a lot of my issues with their beliefs. Early on, that was where a lot of my abuse started from. And it just resented the whole world. But still tried to put on a brave face and be that nice guy. Someone I felt was worth something. No, I didn't feel worth anything. I still had values and beliefs that I stood by and stood up for. They're very, very vocally. And yeah, very little changed when I went to college. Originally, I did go to college twice, but straight after school, I have had and still don't have any real desire for some ideal job or some ideal vacation, value based career, or so I just stuck to what I had done well at, but believing that those things must be what I'm supposed to do because that's what I was good at, while having less and less interest in them, as I did with everything else. And at this point, I'd given up on ever having a relationship. But the idea of that just seemed impossible to me. I'd always been told I was ugly, worthless, not ever going to be someone somebody even want to be around, let alone or be seen with, let alone be with. And in college, when guys would joke that I fancied someone, like the whole thing of someone would, oh, John fancies so and so. It's always, even though most of the time it wasn't true, it was still always met with disgust and repulsion and oh, please no, that's the last thing I want. So I just learned I felt that was my fate. I was unlovable and would ultimately be alone. And that was, I wish I could say I was comfortable with that, but it was crushing. Always grown up believing, throughout my life, believed that relationships are the most important thing in the world. It's what makes us all connected, what makes you feel alive, feel valued, and yet every friend I had always ultimately ended up feeling like they were using me. I was convenient, or if I provided something for them, then I was worth having around. If not, then they didn't bother with me. And being someone who had very few friends anyway, it was I've had trouble making connections with people and feeling any connection with people. I would desperately cling to those friendships regardless of regardless of how they treat me. Blindly just hoping that they would value me for myself. And see past all the walls that I built up, and still see value in me, but that was never really the case. I had a couple of close friends finally when I was into school, early college, but I wouldn't say they were people I had a lot in common with. I did my best to be a friend to them while also trying to hide the growing flaws in myself and my own mistrust of everybody. And ultimately, they were all turned on me or used me in some way that hurt me so much I didn't maintain contact with them. And desperately wanted something to hope for, live for, something to give my life some sort of value, try and fill the holes that were growing in my life, in my soul, in my heart, pain, and um, um, ultimately ended up spending most of my college life drinking or smoking weed, always feeling worse about life afterwards and more depressed than ever, and hiding that lifestyle from my family, and just trying to fit in two worlds that became a theme for my life. Just trying to fit things together that just didn't fit. The bullying at least stopped during those college years, which was some relief. I started to build a tiny bit of confidence, but it was not really concrete in any way, because I still had all my insecurities destroying me on the inside, and didn't know what to do after college. Went off to uni because I had one female friend at a certain university, and then decided to go to that uni just based off the fact I knew someone, and thinking, well, this is where life really begins, and I was so wrong. When I got there, I was bullied the same as at school. The people I lived with treated me like crap, and I let them because I don't know how other way. Still don't know any other way of stopping that. I've got no self-esteem. And I had no real escape. At this point there was no TV in the room. There's no internet. There's no thing. Go out drinking every night alone. Come back, find my room smashed up, and trashed by my so-called friends. Uh, food in the fridge just thrown away, destroyed, or thrown around the kitchen. Just childish, stupid things that you wouldn't expect from people that age. And I just gave up. I felt more alone than ever, as I only had that one friend and rarely saw them. They already been there and established a life. I was not really part of that. So I never felt so alone in my life, and came home with my tail between my legs, and I've just given up. And this is when depression just escalated to the point where I isolated myself from everything and anyone and everyone. Hid myself in my own little world. That was made of nothing really of any value. Just listen to depressing music, listen to depressing views on life, and really just gave up on any positivity. Um, uh, Being at home, though, I had access to the internet, and started talking to people online as a way of trying to develop my social skills, I guess. And because I was afraid of being around people, it felt like I could be myself with these random people online, and talking like MSN and chat rooms at this point, which most people these days probably wouldn't even remember. But it's yeah, I just realized I was, I'd create these personas for myself and trying things out to try and then occasionally, having spent time chatting to people, to let them know a bit more about the real me. It was at this point I started an online relationship. Say our relationship, it wasn't really anything. It was fake as fake can be, but in my head at that time it was real. It was more real than life because it's the first time anyone had shown me any attention. Until they saw a photo of me and suddenly were no longer interested, which destroyed what little self-esteem I had. But they still maintained contact and some sort of tried to keep me interested, string me along, while one minute abusing me, the next minute spending hours on the phone trying to convince me that they loved me, which they didn't. Uh, this person was bipolar, so at that age I didn't really understand that, but not someone I should have been getting involved with, amongst other reasons. And but this was the first person who'd ever shown me affection, and but it was abusive, and completely destroyed my self-esteem again. And But at this point, family friend, who'd been good friends with my brother, still spending time in our house even though he wasn't there, and become part of the furniture, so to speak. Basically like an adopted brother, and we quickly developed a friendship because we were in similar boats, and became the first real, possibly only real friend I've ever had. He's stuck by me through everything, so I do appreciate him. Even his addiction and what's come out and destroyed my marriage is still there. Not, although obviously very sad for me and caught in the middle somewhat. He's as understanding as can be. So I appreciate that. And we started going out drinking. Never really socialized before that, and I at the time was I just felt I needed someone to go out with. We quickly developed over time close friendship, and after about a year or so, I met a girl who was become my first serious relationship. We were close friends for about a year or so, maybe, before we got together, and it was messy to begin with. But this was someone I'd opened up to and shared my insecurities with, shared my heartache, pain, and the only person I'd told really about that online relationship. And yeah, that was, I'd like to say it was a good relationship, but at times it was. But I look back now and I know it was abusive, not physically or sexually, but emotionally. She knew exactly what buttons to press, how to press them, whether she consciously did it or not, but she always manipulated me into, I did whatever she wanted, whenever she wanted, however she wanted it. Talk to whoever she wanted to, not to anyone she didn't want me to. Let her just completely manipulate me and control me, because I felt finally I had someone, and finally I had someone that was that cared about me, loved me, but it was certainly not the kind of relationship I should have had as a first relationship. We would hope for. We were together 4.5 years. Got engaged. She proposed to me. Again, convinced me that I was worth loving, and that she obviously did love me if she was wanting to do that. But yeah, she was. She would build me up, tear me down, almost on a daily basis. And we ended up moving in together after a few years. Went to uni again. Just spending time at college, and these college years were the second time around were better. Had a relationship, had friends, felt like I belonged somewhere. When in reality, I didn't really fit the mold or fit in. I just felt like I did. And really only felt that because I felt that this person cared for me and that I had some value. When issues started happening there, my porn addiction escalated massively. Became my way of coping with all the negative feelings, extreme hurt and abuse. Just bury it by watching porn. And didn't realize it at the time, but that was what I was literally doing that after every argument, isolating myself more. She'd draw me back in. Things would be better for a while. Then tear me back down. I'd never know what I was doing wrong. Nothing was ever good enough. I was never good enough. Just trying to be everything she wanted me to be. It never just be myself, but never being allowed to. That was never good enough. Um, after 4.5 years, sorry, my stomach is rumbling. I went off to America to it was a gap year in my degree. Naively thought we'd get married when I got back. Still telling me she loved me. But then at this point, just before I left, she'd be breaking up with me and then telling me she didn't want to again, and then didn't know what was coming or going. I'd fall apart, and then got off to America, and in a couple of months she'd ended it and explained that she'd not loved me for 2.5 years, which destroyed me. That she just kept me around because I was a good guy and didn't want to hurt me, when she spent the whole time doing that, clearly trying to make me break it off, be the bad guy. And basically didn't care about me after that at all. Just destroyed everything about me. I had nothing, no value left. I fell to pieces. I was in a foreign country, so obviously I could, not completely culturally different, but still vastly different culturally. And I fell into another severe depression. That I spent years trying to recover from that. Obviously, other issue there was which I'd never told her, and was this abuse that I'd had, sexual abuse I'd had when I was 10 years old. Was causing me issues intimately. I'd have flashbacks, and withdrew myself. Sexually couldn't control that, and that escalated the porn addiction. But again, that's those issues. She would blame me, hate me, say I'm worthless, useless, can't even do that. What's the point? Horrible things that just made me feel worth nothing or worse than nothing, and just scarred me psychologically. This is the first person I'd ever been with, both relationship and sexually, outside of that abuse, and have that abuse put on top of it just made me completely confused, scared, just feeling like I was worth nothing, and that I'd never be worth anything. After about 6 months of just trying to repair myself, I found at this point was where I found my faith again. Like I said, how could I be? Hey, the God I didn't believe in existed, and I slowly learned to trust God somewhat. But this depression never went away. I never knew why it was there. I never put two and two together about the abuse and the bullying and how it had changed and affected my core beliefs about myself, and I just felt like it wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. I'd see other Christians and other people, and this has been always the case, see other people just getting on with life and getting through everything, crazy things happen, and what people would call miracles, and just sit there and go, well, where's mine? But I had some faith that it would happen at some point. I still had my values. I still had my core values, an integrity, which was destroyed by this sex addiction. But at that point, I still had my integrity. That was late 20s, early 30s. Slowly built myself up. I'd say yes, late 20s, and 28, 29, and I had a rebound relationship in America that didn't help things. Good Christian girl, inverted commas. Basically, I think I was more of a project than a partner. And as soon as I left America, because my visa ran out, she broke it off and found out she was seeing someone else. Just completely broke me again. And ultimately, I spent probably a year, 2 years doing very little of life. I'd given up, and depression was just kicking my ass. Couldn't get out of bed, couldn't do anything, couldn't find a job. Just trying to rebuild my sense of self. I realised I hadn't got over my ex, I'll call her Kay, and what she'd done to me. She would still, she and my best friend were still friends. I'd still see her from time to time, and she'd even invite her, bring him along, catch up, and wouldn't even speak to me really. still treat me like crap. But to then ask, well, I hope you don't hate me, I still care about you. It's like, it still treat me like crap, like I didn't mean anything. And I just get anxiety about that whenever that happened. I don't know why I kept going back. I guess that's my inability to let go of things or and punish myself. Or failure to move on with life. That has just been a constant theme. This point is where things start to go very wrong in terms of the sex addiction. Not directly this point, but just after it. So I'll go into that in the next video.